All right, everybody, welcome. We're joining the day 3 of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial in progress. So let's get right to the audio. We'll have time during breaks to catch up on other stuff. Right now, the detective who was on duty the night in question is testifying. It looks very similar to one of the attorneys, but it's not. It's two different people.
Can we now please play exhibit number 13, the Lakota Lichtwalt live stream?
Oh boy.
Is it need a break right now? We'll be taking one shortly, but right now? Okay, go ahead.
Let's begin at the 9-minute mark, Brian. 9-minute mark.
Lichtwalt is. She's got the exhibit list too, so it's all.
Now, they're calling it day 2 because day 1 was sort of jury selection. This always happens whenever we cover a trial, but it's sort of day 3 overall.
Appreciate that. The people joining my live stream from CJTV, I do appreciate it. Guys, if I drop out again, make sure that you're jumping across to Corey Elijah, also another local here who's been documenting things in our hometown. Otherwise, make sure you're jumping on CJTV and Mercado Media. It does sound like we've got some stuff going on over here. I don't know if that's fireworks or what we have going on. We're going to go try and check it out.
Locations for the jury. Detective Howard, we have seen this video begin at a location, and it appears that the person taking the video is now moving. Can you, if you're able to, can you tell us where this person was at the beginning of the video?
So at the beginning of the video, it appeared that Mr. Lichtwalt was on the southwest corner of Sheridan Road and 60th Street. The armored vehicles that you saw in the beginning of the video were at 60th Street. Now it appears he turned the camera around and now he's facing south.
And as we watch this video, is he going to be heading south along Sheridan Road?
Yes.
Okay. Please continue. Can we rewind 10 seconds, please? I want to call the jury's attention to the center of Sheridan Road there. It's kind of in the center of the screen right now. There will be some figures coming towards the camera. I just want to focus the jury's attention on that as we start the playing again, please, from there. Pause like one more frame. There, okay. No dispute on this. There's no dispute on this. I just want to make it clear for the jury. This individual who is running past the videographer, this individual here is the defendant, Kyle Rittenhouse. He is headed back north up Sheridan Road while this videographer passes him going south. Go ahead.
Those are gunshots.
Wow. I still don't know why the audio completely cuts out at times from court TV. I have no idea why.
We've already seen this from a little bit of a different angle, but I'll represent to the jury, and there's no dispute about this. The individual who's crying out for a medic is Gage Grosskreutz. He's just been shot in the right arm by the defendant. This individual who's just arrived, who's got the kind of greenish pants on, that is Jason Lekowski.
Target now. No. Target, take it. Please tell me how to use this. Where you shot? We got it. Tight. Make it tight. Keep it elevated above the heart.
You want to go to the hospital, babe?
Get tight.
You want to go to the hospital?
Move. Twist.
Come this way. Come on.
Let's maybe try a different feed that might just be more conducive to what we're trying to do here.
Detective Howard, can you describe for the jury what's going on in that sequence of events that we just saw after Gage Grosskreutz was shot?
So those are several armored vehicles from different law enforcement agencies in Wisconsin arriving to a report of shots fired, and they are attempting to render aid to victims. But before they do that, they are concerned because they don't know whether or not there's still an active threat. So they come out with a show of force to secure the area. So that way, after they secure the area, they can provide medical aid to the victims or the people who got shot.
The victims. Not allowed to say it.
I know I've just presented a lot of videos to the jury, and I want your help, Detective Howard, just so we can make sure we've got everything in chronological order. Based on what we've just played for the jury and what you know, can you kind of describe the sequence of events in the series of shootings that we've just seen?
Starting with the first shooting.
Yes.
So the first shooting takes place at the 63rd Street and Sheridan Road car source on the south end of our map here. That is where Mr. Rittenhouse shoots 4 times at Mr. Rosenbaum. All right. So the first shooting with Mr. Rosenbaum and Mr. Rittenhouse, where 4 shots are fired, this takes place at the car source at 63rd Street and Sheridan Road at the south end of our map. That was after they both ran in a southwest direction, going down and to the left in this parking lot. After those 4 shots are fired, Mr. Rittenhouse takes a direction northbound. He's on the sidewalk briefly, and then he moves a little bit more to the east. When he's closer to 62nd Street, in that approximate area, he runs northbound on Sheridan Road in the middle of Sheridan Road. At approximately 61st Street, just north of that intersection, or right at that intersection, that is where Mr. Rittenhouse falls down and takes a position on his back, facing southbound. The individual unidentified who attempts to kick him is shot at 2 times, and then Mr. Huber is shot at 1 time, and then Mr. Grosskreutz is shot at 1 time. And all of that takes place at this location right here.
And then can you just show us the defendant's path as he walks away from the scene after that?
After that, Mr. Rittenhouse continues northbound on Sheridan Road.
And the line of police cars and Bearcats or armored vehicles originally was at 60th and Sheridan?
At Sheridan and 60th right here.
And you mentioned earlier there was a Kenosha Police squad car with officers Moretti and Krieger in it that the defendant approached. Can you show us where that was on the map?
Right. That squad car was in the westbound, the westernmost lane of southbound Sheridan Road, just south of 60th Street. So that KPD squad car would have been right here.
And then just for complete context here. The original car source that the defendant was at earlier in the evening, can you point that out for us, please?
That was at Sheridan Road and 59th Street at the southwest corner.
Okay. Thank you very much. We have seen a couple of versions of the shooting of Mr. Rosenbaum, and immediately prior to that, he throws something at the defendant. Have you seen that in the videos?
Yes.
Okay. Was that item ever recovered?
No.
Could we play exhibit number 2 at the 2:53 mark, please? Detective Howard, would you agree with me that in this video we see center left Joseph Rosenbaum,
Yes.
and in his right hand is a plastic bag? Is that correct?
Yes.
Detective Howard, we have had that image enlarged and enhanced as best we can to focus in on that plastic bag. So in a second, there'll be an image that I'm going to show on the screen of that.
A lot of people getting banned again. It's really toxic these days. Really toxic. We'll just keep banning. It's free. It's a free button. I'm not paying anything every time I use it. Mostly YouTube, yeah. People on Twitch are behaving. I mean, it's, you know, make of it what you
For the
will.
record, I believe this is exhibit number 24.
We're getting close to a break, a short break, and then I'll explain everything where we're at. A lot of consultation happening here.
I apologize. We need to do a little something technical. Do you think it'd be a good time to break?
Let's take a break, folks. Please don't talk about the case during the break. Read, watch, or listen to any account of the trial.
So there will be a break and we'll have a chance to catch up on everything here. It does seem that we're getting to some key elements here, visual elements of the test of the prosecution's exhibits. Okay, so they're going to be going to a break now, and so we'll explain what's going on. So Monday, we had jury selection, and a jury was selected. I believe it actually may be 20 total jurors 12 on the jury, and 8 alternates. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's what's at play here. Yesterday, Tuesday, was the first proper day of the trial, and we had opening statements from the prosecution as well as the defense. There was a big controversy yesterday as to whether the defense could play a video which contained elements already, which the prosecution said, no, these have not yet been entered into evidence. You can't just play a video. You can't present the evidence in the opening statement. You can allude to what the evidence will show. Judge basically said it's fine with a couple minor tweaks. Today, we are in the first day of testimony and questioning. And right now, what we've been seeing is questioning by the prosecutors of a detective who was on duty the night of the killings. We can call them killings at this point in time. That's where we are. There's going to be a very, very short break, and I want an opportunity to go over different things that people are saying. Okay, let's get to... I do want to thank people. People have been so great supporting the nonstop streams that we've been doing this week. I want to say thank you to JPRXGone, Mellow Melly, Hersafat, Robot Chris, Quarkmas, and Monster Cat for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. I am committed to getting back into the 1,000+ Twitch subscriber area this month. And I have only myself to blame for the fact that we didn't get there the last couple of months. And I really appreciate that. I also want to say thank you to Greg Mott, who just signed up on my website using the coupon code Felony21, as well as Andy Hickman, who just signed up. New members number 7 and 8. As you can see here, joinpacman.com. It's crazy what's happening on the website. And you can use the coupon Felony21 to get a big discount. I would love it if you did that. Really appreciative of everybody who's been sending me nice messages saying, David, we love all the streaming that you've been doing. It's all good. Over on Court TV, they're in a break. It's a break everywhere right now, guys. So we can relax and take a moment just to get caught up on a few different things here that are taking place. If you missed last night's election results stream, now I have 2 minutes. Let me make sure that I'm telling you this correctly. I believe it's 2 minutes from now, when at the stroke of 4 p.m. in the East and 1 p.m. in the West, I am publishing a video breaking down last night's election disaster for Democrats. And it is a disaster. The debate can be over to what degree was last night a disaster for Democrats, but it was a disaster. And it could portend some very negative things for 2022. Now, New Jersey gubernatorial results, I do want to see where we are with that. Let's see here. SHQ, New Jersey. Let's see where we are there. I guess this is the website. Site can't be reached. Decision desk. And we want to see New Jersey. It has still not been called, but the incumbent Phil Murphy is now just slightly back in the lead by about 0.6 of a point, about 15,000 votes. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that, of course. If you missed last night's stream, we did have a very weaponized call from furious Trumpist Jimmy from Philly. We've now uploaded this as a standalone video. If you missed it, I'll just play it for you. Let's check in with Jimmy from Philly. Jimmy from Philly, James, you're on the air. What's going on?
Well, a little tidbit about Governor Murphy of New Jersey. Okay?
Yeah.
The mainstream media told everybody that there was all these curfews for months. People were all upset. And then a couple months later, good old Governor Murphy with a wry smile said, there was no curfew. I never ordered any curfew. You're going to vote for a guy like that deceives you by omission? And that guy that said the suburbs of Philly? Yeah, that's all my friends that move over to Washington Township because they hate Philadelphia. They ain't voting for that clown.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. All right, interesting.
Yeah, they all move over to Washington Township because they can't stand Philadelphia. They did better for themselves.
Did they?
Yeah.
In what way?
They made more money. They did well in life, and they can't stand Philadelphia.
So they moved. They
Riots,
moved to a suburb and they
riots.
made more money than in the city.
No, they did better in life.
Better in life, but they made more money. You said, right?
David, they don't like Democratic politicians.
No, that. But hold on,
Look
I'm
at
actually
Philly.
interested in that.
It's ridiculous.
What would be an example job where one of your friends made more money in the suburbs of Philadelphia in Jersey than in Philly? What job pays more?
Well, first of all, the suburbs of Philadelphia is not New Jersey.
I
live
thought
in
you
the
were saying
suburbs.
the Philly suburbs in Jersey that the caller
No,
mentioned.
one of your callers said that, and
Yeah.
you said that it sounds illegal.
Yeah, that was a joke. You know that was a joke, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, I know it was
Okay,
a joke.
okay.
David. I understand that.
Good.
I'm a reasonable person.
Good.
But he's being truthful because a lot of people moved out of Philadelphia to just across the bridge.
Got it. But so to go back, I'm really interested in job markets. What is the job your friends had who they left Philly to the suburbs and made
my
more
one
money?
friend's a trucker. My one friend's a trucker, and his wife works for. What does his wife do? His wife makes more money than him, actually. She works for the government somewhere. I'm unsure.
Okay. But
But
so
they got like 5 kids, so to live in Washington Township with 5 kids, you gotta have money. You gotta have money to live anywhere. David, I lived in Jersey 20 years ago. I used to listen to this talk show,
yeah.
and they deduced that a single person 20 years ago to live in an apartment, maintain a car, had to make $44,000 a year in New Jersey. I can only imagine what it is now.
Jimmy, is it okay if we try to just stick to one topic and then we'll go to the next one?
Sure.
Okay. So my question is, let's say you were in landscaping. I would guess as a landscaper, you make more working in Philly than in suburbs because usually landscaping work is more expensive in cities. So what I want to know, hold on, just let me finish the question, Jimmy. Jimmy, please, I'm begging you, let me finish the question.
I'm sorry.
What is the type of job where your friends made more by quitting the Philly job and getting the same job in a suburb? What is the job?
The truth is, David, they couldn't stand living in Philly. And
So it wasn't
believe they
true
make
when you
more-
said they made more money when they left. They just didn't like Philly.
Well, yes, that's part of it.
You lied. You told me something that
Absolutely.
wasn't true.
Okay, David. Next question.
I don't know, Jimmy. You called me, but so you're saying it's not truthful. You don't really have an example of that.
Listen, David, I'm on my third 12% beer, so I don't know what the hell I said to you, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right. Okay.
How's that for
Anything else,
honesty?
Jimmy? Anything else I can do for you?
Anything? Well, Governor Murphy is a scumbag. He allowed the mainstream media to tell everybody in New Jersey that there were curfews. He never refuted it. Then a couple months later, with a wry smile, he said, "What curfews? I never ordered a curfew."
Yeah, I just don't
that's
know
what he
anything
did.
about that. I don't know a thing about that.
That's
Jimmy.
exactly what he did, David. I'm telling you the truth.
Is
He
this
did.
more
He
true
did.
than your friend who left Philly and made more in the suburbs?
David,
Yeah.
David, you got to be kidding me. You're talking about the truth. I mean, I'm talking to you David, what was that stream that you said that you're an admitted liar? And I have it as a playlist on my channel. You know that anybody can access it.
I don't know what you're
I
talking
think
about,
maybe
Jimmy.
you were joking, but you said it.
Jimmy, what'd you have for dinner tonight?
What did I have?
Yeah.
I had a bag of gourmet microwave stuff at P.F. Chang's.
P.F. Chang's. I've never been there.
It's a restaurant, but they put out gourmet.
No, I know what it is. I've just never been there.
Yeah. Okay.
It's gourmet.
Why are you asking me what I have for dinner? What'd you have?
Somehow the concept of a bag of food is funny. Are you familiar with pho? It's a Vietnamese soup. Or is it Cambodian? It is Vietnamese.
Sounds gay.
All right, Jimmy, we're going to let you go, okay? Thank you. There's Jimmy from Philly. When it goes overtly homophobic, we just kill it. Okay, there we go. So that was the call yesterday with Jimmy from Philly. So You missed a lot of hijinks on the stream last night, okay? We're standing by for the resumption of the trial. It's going to happen in just a few minutes. I want to say thank you to Sierra Loves Eggnog, Hoovian, Heigl, Pseudonymous, and Bisnick for signing up via Twitch Prime, putting us at 13. And if you're just joining us, we do have a coupon code. It's so cheap, it could be a felony in more conservative parts of the country. The code is felony21, and you can sign up on my website, joinpacman.com. We joke around a lot about memberships, but in all seriousness, it really is, when the memberships come in,
Big, massive dumps.
when the memberships dump in, it really does a lot to support the work that we do. So consider yourselves invited. Let's look at a few different super chats. Chris says, I think we need a different judge. Yeah, a little late for that. Have Jimmy from Philly and Ike from South Carolina debate. It would be lively. That's actually a pretty good idea. Great channel, and thank you for your work nobody sees. I hope you don't mean nobody watches what I do. I think what you mean is just the behind-the-scenes stuff. People saying it's pronounced pho, not faux. I pronounced it pho. Guys, please, criticize me for things I've said, not things I haven't said. There was a really wacky thing. I didn't get a chance to talk about this. Michael Williams from the Dallas News had a great thread about this. This was yesterday. Here at Dealey Plaza, where hundreds of QAnon supporters have gathered expecting John F. Kennedy Jr. to reveal himself where his father was assassinated. John F. Kennedy Jr. died in a plane crash in '99. The crowd, including a group holding a Trump Kennedy sign, breaks out into a rendition of the national anthem. A segment of QAnon believes JFK Jr., who's been dead for 20 years, would run in 2020. Let's listen. Okay. Experts who have followed QAnon for years said even they were surprised by the turnout in Dallas. Frankly, I'm kind of shocked at how many people turned out for this, said Jared Holt. A pretty steady rainfall has driven a big part of the group to cover, but the lost, I guess he meant the last hardcore QAnon adherents are still standing on the grassy knoll. Every few seconds, passing cars honk their horns over the X's on the streets, marking where JFK was shot. Okay. Taking shelter with a group of folks who seem to believe Trump will walk into the White House as president tomorrow morning. Now, this was last night. News from the future. It didn't happen, but take a listen to this.
Tonight is it. Oh, by the way, I have another piece of information.
A woman holding a dog is about to tell us.
November 3rd at 1:30 a.m., which should be about 2.5 hours after the concert, Trump is flying into the White House at 1:30 a.m. Why?
Imagine thinking all day yesterday that at 1:30 in the morning, Trump was going to fly into the White House and become president again. Like, that's not even, I like banana split. You don't like it. Or white chocolate's good. Oh, no, I disagree. Oh, okay. All right. Trump will fly to the White House and regain the presidency. That's 72-hour psych hold, folks. That's 72-hour psych hold level. I don't know what else to say. That's what it is. I do want to say a huge thank you to Jill Carlier, who just signed up on my website using the coupon code felony21. Jill, you are new member number 14 today. Number 14. We are also getting dangerously close to the 900 Twitch subscriber level, which is going to put us in really great position to get to 903, which will put us close to 905. which will get us to 909, etc. to 1,000. That's really kind of the point. Let's go to some voicemails. I had no opportunity yesterday to go through voicemails during the evening stream. I do want to play at least some for you. Here's one from Eric from Massachusetts.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. Look up Dallas, Texas, whistleblowers from Pfizer blowing your narrative out of...
It's funny, with the Boston accent, whistleblowers, he said from Pfizer. I hear F-I-S-A, but I believe he means Pfizer.
Like I said, vaccine's dangerous, killing people, and all I can say is about your career and on YouTube and whatever with your business. Pfizer better write you a big check because it's all over.
Okay.
It's all over.
So as far as Eric's concerned, the fact that I report the science of vaccines is going to make me... It's not clear if I'm going to end up in jail or just with no show. We did hear from Whit early this morning.
David, so a lot of people are talking about how people aren't getting vaccinated and then
Yes.
they're losing their jobs. Like they should not be required to be vaccinated.
That's true. The topic of vaccines has been a big topic. You've accurately represented that.
In case like maybe they thought that like, well, in case they, on the off chance they wanted to get pregnant. Or...
Okay. More voicemails just continue to pour in.
Sir, I wanted to call you and let you know that mangoes where I live are 99 cents as a regular price.
Whoa.
I live in Virginia, about an hour and a half outside of D.C. Sir, I believe that the farther north you go, the more expensive the mangoes will be because of the cost of transportation. I will tell you, we just had mangoes on sale, sir, for 79 cents for one mango.
Can you imagine? I would be stocking up if they weren't perishable, you know?
So I got plenty of mangoes. I have 5 mangoes sitting here right now. And if I was close
Big spender, huh? Imagine just sitting around covered in mangoes.
to you, sir, I would drive over and bring you a mango. Thank you for your service.
All right, so getting the mango material out of the way. Let's see what else we've got here.
Hey, David. Friday's show had some depressing callers, so I thought I would lighten the mood. I found your show right before the pandemic, and it completed my turn to politics. So I've been a congressional intern for my representative all summer, and I absolutely loved it.
Wow, okay. I got somebody involved in politics. That's very exciting.
Hello, David. I just listened to an episode on a podcast. I'm a super busy single mom, but you had a caller who had called in about adult daycare, and a lot of the things that she explained and talked about were issues that we suffer with in rural Alaska. I'm from Alaska, and we have talked about multi-generational care and the possibilities. I think that there is a lot of people who are on that, and I just wanted to say, please, if you're doing that, pursue it.
Excellent idea. Very good. I think we've got a Spanish voicemail here.
Hi, good morning, David.
Oh, it's for some reason the transcript is in Spanish, even though the voicemail is in English. That's weird.
I'm in California, Santa Cruz, Hill City, and I'll leave my phone number, 831-295-8295.
Whoa. Hold on a second. Oh, my God. Hold on a second. Whoa. Oh, my God. Hold on. Whoa. Mute everything. Oh, my God. All right. I'm just not even going to play it. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, David, I was just wondering. They say that most black people and most people of color don't get vaccinated. And I think that is because we have a disproportionate amount of
What? All right. Well, that bailed.
Hi, David. This is Lee from Minnesota. Love the show. I'm just wondering, what happened to the Patriot Mail? Certainly, that couldn't have come to an end.
Yeah, we addressed that already. Upon advice from the FBI, we ended Hatriot Mail, actually, and I've addressed it before. I'm not going to keep calling attention to it, though.
David, this is Whitney. So I have like a couple questions just on Jewish and German relations, and I feel like we were really kind of like uneven ground when it came to like the Holocaust and helping like the Holocaust survivors. Like it was like, not.
Okay. It's History with Whitney.
Hi, David. I'm calling you. Sorry. I'm calling you because I have some thoughts about the climate change summit, specifically having to meet in person. I mean, I really hope at some point this idea that you have to get together with somebody, you have to look them in the eye, you have to be face to face with somebody, just goes away.
Actually, it's sort of coming back now, and we realize that some things a lot of things could have been an email, didn't even need to be a Zoom meeting. But then there are things where you do actually get more done in person. I don't think that's illegitimate by any means whatsoever.
David, your answer to a caller who was wondering about what Trump did different than any other Republican prior to him.
Mm-hmm.
And you were partially correct. Had Donald Trump, though, had started out his campaign with hijacking economic populist talking points from Bernie Sanders, he would not have gotten the attention of the average Joe redneck who is not well-read, who barely pays attention to the news other than maybe Fox for a half hour when he comes home from work.
That's not a crazy take, actually. That's kind of interesting. A few other super chats coming in. Jeremy says, "Hey, David, sir, love your education and your show.
I don't even know what I'm doing, sir.
I'm from Montreal and really wish there was a Canadian French equivalent of your show. Oh, well, until then, I'm supporting your channel, sir."
Sir.
Right. What's scarier than these conspiracy theories like JFK Jr. coming back from the dead is that the folks that believe them vote yes. Sir, the Virginia gubernatorial race almost always goes to the candidate opposite the president.
Sir, I think you're doing very well.
For Youngkin not to win would have been highly unusual. I addressed that on my segment today. Okay? Where do people like Marjorie Taylor Greene come from? By the take they're in the position they're in, it's too late. See upcoming Michelle Fiore. Yes, I covered Michelle Fiore. David, big fan of the show, finally ponied up. Keep at it. Thank you. Doctor says things are looking bleak enough. I kind of wish I could flee the country. I don't want to raise my family here. Yeah, a lot of people are feeling that. Ren says, "Sir,
I don't even know what I'm doing, sir.
Do you believe if Kyle Rittenhouse was African or Hispanic descent, he would be in jail or even currently alive?" I think that without a doubt, everything would have been different if Kyle Rittenhouse were African American. No doubt. Dave, I'm from Canada, very confused. Why are the dead protesters not allowed to be called victims in the trial? They were shot dead in the street. Yeah, the judge said that what the trial is about, whether they were victims or whether it was self-defense. If it was self-defense, they're not victims. So the judge said you can't refer to them as victims. This judge has done it before. It is not typical of all murder trials. It is not typical of all murder trials, that's for sure. We learned that very, very strongly. I want to say a huge thank you to Master McLevy as well as Finn Panda, who just grabbed Twitch Prime subscriptions, pumping us up to 16 today. Love everybody's support via all means. We love Twitch Prime. We love the website. You can sign up on my website as well. Let's listen to a few more voicemails.
Hi, David. This is Bob from Ohio. I just watched your video on the Cleveland Guardians. Just a couple things to add to that. They have changed their name in the past. They were the Naps. They were named after one of their players, Napoleon Lajoie, and they changed it when he moved to another team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a good idea to do this. The Washington football team did. I wish they would have come up with a name, but...
Right. Okay, so there have been name changes in the past. I think that that's absolutely true.
Hey, David.
I was listening to tonight's show and heard a lot of pain in people's voices. So I thought I'd pass along a super easy tip for people who are really anxious and stressed
Oh, okay.
and in pain. It's called the Metta Meditation.
Oh, okay.
It's spelled METTA. And you use a phrase over and over for 15 minutes a day.
Oh.
The one I use is,
Let me add some music to it.
may all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from suffering. There's something about sending out that heartfelt pulse into the world that changes your brain chemistry.
Yep.
I know because I tried it.
Yeah, no, meditation is excellent. Meditation is excellent. All right, we are about to get back to this here. Thanks to E. Lawrence for signing up via Twitch Prime. Love it. Absolutely love it. We are getting back into the trial.
Would you come down, please? Yes. Thank you.
What do you guys think about a mustache-related coupon code? Maybe something we could look at? Mustache 21. Could be a pretty big discount. Maybe for tomorrow. A lot of fun being had over at the defense table, that's for sure. So we're resuming with the prosecution's questioning of the detective who was on duty the night of the shooting. And they had a technical element to sort out. And I think they've done it. And so the volume is up, guys. There's just no audio coming from the court. And we're expecting it all to resume momentarily here. Daniel says, why all the talk about goobers? M&Ms are better. Okay. Sometimes I don't even know what my audience is talking about. Let's see what's happening over on Court TV. They appear to be in some kind of a commercial. We'll keep it over here. The audio's going in and out. I'm keeping the audio on all the time. It's just that the audio is going in and out. Maybe we can even squeeze in one or two more voicemails while we wait here.
Hello, David. My name is Guy. I'm a medical student.
Okay. I just can't deal with that noise, Guy. That's just crazy. Let's see.
Hey, David, I love your.
See, now
clips on
this is
YouTube.
clear audio. This is how you deliver a voicemail.
I'm hoping someday that you'll be able to point out to these anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers that are claiming it's their body, their choice, that they'll remember that next time they attend an anti-abortion rally.
Yeah,
or
good. That ship has sailed. Hypocrisy doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't. I want to say thanks to Andy B7301, who's new member number 18 today. Let's kick up. I would love to actually get to 100. Let me do an extra thing right now. Website memberships count double. Every website membership we're going to count as 2, and every Patreon pledge we're counting as 3 today. I'm just that interested in getting us to 100. So Twitch sub counts as 1, website membership counts as 2, Patreon counts as 3. I'm monitoring all of these different elements. Let's see if we can make it happen.
Hello, David. This is Harry from California. I'm calling with regards to the ongoing Social Security scammers. You've done...
Okay, and that one was interrupted midway. Let's see. I have Troy York. I also have a B-Dog voicemail.
Hey, Pack Dog. It's your boy, B-Dog. Just giving you a call, dog. I want to get your take on this. If you were in charge of the Democratic Party today, dog, what would you do going forward to recover from the disastrous election night last night, dog? I'll take my answer off the air, Pack Dog. Big fan, by the way, dog.
Yeah, I have a whole segment about that today. So it just published actually to YouTube. Let's see if we can squeeze in a Troy York voicemail. from earlier today. Where was the Troy York stuff? He's been leaving some doozies. I haven't even been getting to them.
So, David, you're a spreader of lies, just like the
This
rest
is not Troy York, by the way.
of the CNNs and things like that. That the truth is your kryptonite. And it's one thing to be a part of a situation or you believe in something, but never. Your party is all about no accountability. And trust me, some Republicans.
What's he talking about?
Are too, but majority. You guys can't ever admit, hey, we're wrong, or I'm sorry. Like we're supposed to teach our kids, and we're
okay. I don't know what he's talking about.
Court TV asked if we can move the TV a little bit because
hold
it's
on.
blocking their view of Detective Howard. Is that still in a position where everybody's able to see it on both ends? Okay.
Court TV wanted it.
Detective Howard, before we took a break, I was showing you a still from exhibit number 2, which is the Drew Hernandez video number 029. Which was focused on Mr. Rosenbaum. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Thanks, Kevin, for signing up, by the way.
On the screen, exhibit number 24, which is a sort of a blown up and enhanced photo of that scene of Mr. Rosenbaum. And again, Detective Howard, does that show the plastic bag that Mr. Rosenbaum was carrying around on the evening of August 25th, 2020?
That's what it appears to be, yes.
All right. Now I would like to show exhibit number 9, which is the aerial surveillance video from the FBI.
Thanks to Shannon and Kareem for signing up on my website. They count double, so 2 counts as 4. Wow. Thanks to patron Jody. Counts as 3. Making some real progress here. Does anyone think that even just this first day of testimony is being properly kept track of and evaluated by the jurors? Do you think they have that capacity on average? Yikes. Basically, everybody's saying no.
We can pause that, please. Can you now please play exhibit number 26? And now if we can please play exhibit number 25.
I believe it is a fair criticism to wonder whether the prosecution so far is even approaching this in a way that will come off being a coherent story to the jurors. I think it's too early to say how they will tie all of this together. It is too early to say. Right. What is being shown? That's a good question. So the arrow's pointing to people of interest. That's the point of this. And I agree, maybe it would be more effective if the prosecution was narrating in some way.
Can we go back to the beginning of that and then pause, please? I'm going to replay it. Yes, of that same video. Detective Howard, the video that we just watched here at the beginning of the video,
Here we
let's
go.
keep a pause there for a second. There are two individuals identified. One has a circle around them with the label person of interest 1. The second has a square around them with a label of person of interest 2. Do you see that?
Yes.
Based on your investigation, your review of all the other videos, who are those two individuals?
Person of interest 1 is Joseph Rosenbaum, and person of interest 2 is Kyle Rittenhouse.
Now, can you please play the video again, Brian?
Now we have context. Presumably, the point the prosecution wants to make here is that Kyle Rittenhouse was an aggressor of sorts, although understand now, at this point, Kyle Rittenhouse is in front of the eventual victim. He seems to turn around and maybe that's when he fires the gun. Is that possible that that's what we're seeing?
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, I have a number of exhibits that I've just used. I believe they are exhibits 1, the Drew Hernandez video 023. Exhibit number 2, the Drew Hernandez video 029. Exhibit number 4, the Zminski after Rosenbaum shooting video. Exhibit number 5, the BG on the scene video. Exhibit number 6, the CJTV running video. Exhibit number 8, the Elijah riot video. Exhibit number 9 was just played. It has already been admitted into evidence. That is the FBI video. Exhibit number 12, which is the Kyle Cook video. Exhibit number 13, which is the Lakota Lichtwalt live stream. Exhibit number 14, which is the Reg Incognito live stream. Exhibit 15, Richie McGinnis at Rosenbaum's body. Exhibit 16, Richie McGinnis Kyle interview. Number 17, Richie McGinnis walking with Kyle. Number 18, Rundown live video. And number 19, the Drew Hernandez shooting video. I would move, and also there is Exhibit 24, which is a photo of Joseph Rosenbaum in the plastic bag. Exhibit 25, an FBI video with markings annotated at normal speed. And then exhibit number 26, which is a second FBI video with markings, which shows the, it's a 5-second clip from second 23 to second 28. I would move all of those exhibits into evidence.
Filters, Your Honor.
Receive.
The testimony that you've provided today, Detective Howard, and the videos that we've seen of all of these events that you identified as occurring in the area of Sheridan Road between approximately 59th Street and 63rd Street, did everything that we've heard about and seen in this case occur here in the city and county of Kenosha and the state of Wisconsin?
Yes.
We have also heard testimony regarding a person who we've identified as the defendant, Kyle Rittenhouse. Do you see him here in court?
Yes.
Can you point him out for us, please?
He's the gentleman sitting at the corner of that table between Mr. Sharafsi and Ms. Wisco.
I have nothing further.
Oh. Now the defense will get to question this detective.
I will eventually, thank you. Detective with the Kenosha Police Department?
Yes.
You work for the Kenosha Police Department?
Yes.
How long have you been a detective?
Almost 3 years.
And before that, you're a patrol officer?
Yes.
You don't work for the district attorney's office, correct?
Correct.
Your job is to gather facts so that, in some cases, they can be presented to citizens of Kenosha to make a determination on the guilt or innocence of criminal defendants, correct?
Yes.
And that is supposed to be done without prejudice or fear or favor, correct?
Yes.
And it's, as Joe Friday used to say in the old days, just the facts, correct?
Yes.
Now, in this case, you are one of the lead detectives.
Yes.
And you put innumerable amounts of time into this case, correct?
Yeah, months.
Months. And before August 23rd, there were 3 car sources in Kenosha, Wisconsin, correct?
Yes.
The first one was burnt to the ground on the night of the 24th, correct?
Yes.
The second car source, where Kyle Rittenhouse and other individuals were protecting, and there was video shown, that was an ongoing business
Protecting.
back on the 24th, correct?
Yes.
And it wasn't boarded up like it's shown in the videos, correct?
Correct.
That was boarded up because of the civil unrest that was occurring in Kenosha.
Correct.
And going on to car source 3, where the first shooting happened, that was an ongoing business, not boarded up, not damaged, correct?
Correct.
Now, in gathering evidence in cases like this, routinely you go out and you freeze a crime scene and you get as much evidence, you take time, you photograph things, and you get it all so that it's all preserved is the right word, correct?
Correct.
In this case, because of the chaos on the night of the 25th into the morning of the 26th, that wasn't able to be done. Fair statement?
Not to the degree that we typically do. Correct.
And I'm not trying to put blame but I want this jury to be able to understand the situation.
This is part of the cops messed up narrative.
Routine for a small contained homicide scene to not be able to find shell casings and have to go back 3 days later when they're pointed out by citizens.
That's not routine. It was 4 days later.
Oh, I apologize. So even longer.
Yeah.
And a citizen said, hey, there's shell casings under this car. You guys should come out and get them.
I don't know that the prosecutor should be nodding to the line of inquiry from the defense.
Thorough investigation where you guys put the cones down, you photograph everything, and then you could bring all that forward, correct?
Evidence techs gathered what they were able to observe that night. The evidence technicians were gathering what they were able to observe that night.
Okay. And what I'm getting at is there was nothing hiding those shell casings if they had done a thorough inspection, looked under the cars and things like that, correct?
Correct.
It is a car lot.
Correct.
Now, you went and got a bunch of information in this case through documents. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
You did multiple search warrants.
Yes.
You did multiple subpoenas for records, correct?
Correct.
And a lot of those search warrants were directed at my client's social media, correct?
Correct.
His telephone.
Correct.
I'm sure I'm going to miss somebody. Instagram, TikTok, all of those.
Yes.
If it were me and I wanted to slow down the momentum of the defense attorney, I would actually make him ask me a question rather than let him keep going and just going, yes, yes, yeah. Those aren't really questions. And one technique that prosecutors I've spoken to have mentioned is you actually stop and you say, when he goes, social media and the shell casings and Twitter. And yes, you actually make them ask you the question every time.
Companies, it's there, they provide it to you, you get it, correct?
Yeah, the first thing we'll typically do is send a preservation letter to preserve the records, and then a search warrant and subpoena. Those can come a little bit further down the road.
And you get all that information so that you're able to provide the jury a full and complete picture of a suspect or a defendant.
Yes, the best that we can.
And you've looked through all those documents?
Yes.
Now, in this case, there's a lot of, how should I say it, interest in subjects' cell phones, correct?
Yes.
And cell phones are, for lack of a better word, mini computers that have videos, personal thoughts, just about anything that a person did. Fair statement?
Yes.
And in this...
And just so people understand, I won't keep interrupting. If this detective wanted to be difficult, even to that he could say, I investigate crimes. I can't comment as to the social importance of what a smartphone has now become. I'm a detective. I investigate crimes. You make it difficult for the attorney to establish this entire story.
Loaded it, correct?
Something to that degree, yes.
Yeah, and I'm not faulting you, I don't care, okay? But it's an investigatory technique that law enforcement uses, correct?
Correct.
Consent, search warrant, one or the other.
Yes.
And you hold the phone so that if they don't consent, nothing can be destroyed, deleted.
Yes.
If they consent, you have somebody in your department whose main duty is downloading cell phones.
Yes.
There are some cell phones that are not, if I use the wrong word, crackable.
Correct.
Okay, and that means that unless
Okay, folks asking about closed captions. Let's see if on the Court TV website
law
we have.
enforcement uses, correct?
Correct.
Consent, search warrant, one or the other.
They don't seem to be.
And you hold the
wait,
phone so that if they don't consent,
There we go.
nothing can be destroyed, deleted.
Yes.
If they consent, you have somebody in your department whose main duty is downloading cell phones.
Yes.
There are some cell phones that are not, if I use the wrong word, crackable.
Correct.
Okay, and that means that unless you have the exact finger code or a fingerprint or something, it can't be opened, correct?
Yes, Mr. Rittenhouse's phone was on the latest iOS, and there was not software available at that time.
Okay, iOS stands for?
It's an Apple update
Okay,
for an
but
iPhone.
it's an operating system, it's a type.
Yes.
Okay, and back in 2020, when you seized Mr. Rittenhouse's phone, you wanted to get in the phone, you immediately sent it to the FBI so that it could be opened or cracked, and they told you they couldn't do that, correct?
Correct.
And myself and Mr. Rittenhouse found out about that, correct?
Correct.
And we said, you want to get in his phone? We'll give you the code as long as we get a copy of whatever you take, correct?
Correct.
And those arrangements were made, and his phone was downloaded.
Correct.
So there's nothing hidden.
Correct.
Now, in this case, you got a search warrant on September 24th. I apologize. In this case, on September 23rd of 2020, you got a signed search warrant from Judge Wagner for Gage Groskwitz's phone, correct?
Correct.
And that was in preparation for a meeting that was going to occur on September 24th between yourself, Gage Groskwitz, his lawyer, and members from the district attorney's office, correct?
I believe that to be correct, but I was not able to attend that meeting.
Okay, who attended it?
Detective Antaramian, and I'm not sure who else.
Okay.
But
the meeting was in person?
Yes.
Okay, so search warrant in one hand, correct?
Yes.
Telephone of Mr. Groskwitz, presumably in Mr. Groskwitz's hand.
Yes.
And for some reason, that search warrant was never served on Mr. Groskwitz and his phone taken, correct?
Correct.
So you have a video from Mr. Groskwitz's phone, correct?
Correct.
But you don't have the download of his telephone, correct?
No.
And you wanted the download of his phone, correct?
Yes.
You wanted the information that was in that phone.
Yes.
You had a search warrant to get all the information in that phone.
Yes.
And yet you didn't execute it.
No, I did not.
Okay. Do you know why it wasn't executed?
Concerns with Marcy's Law?
Who had the concerns with Marcy's Law?
Several of us did. I did. Attorneys did.
When you say attorneys, you're talking about Attorney Binger, correct?
Correct.
Marcy's Law is the Victim Rights Amendment, correct?
Correct.
And have you ever not executed a search warrant because of Marcy's Law?
No.
Okay. This is the first time ever.
Yes.
Is it the last time ever?
I can't foresee the future.
But since that date, September 24th of 2020 to today, have you ever not executed a signed search warrant by a judicial officer of Kenosha County because of some concern of Marcy's Law?
No.
Yeah. And there was also objections from his attorney who didn't want to give it over to you, correct?
Correct.
When you interviewed Dominic Black, you're shaking your head no?
No, Detective Antaramian interviewed Dominic Black. I interviewed Wendy Faith and Mackenzie Rittenhouse at that time.
You interviewed Dominic Black on, I believe it was November 6th?
Well, the follow-up interview, yes.
Okay, that was when he was under arrest, correct?
Yes.
And that interview was taped, correct?
Yes.
The interview with Breton, I'm going to butcher his name, the individual who's responsible for BG on the scene.
That's Brendan Gutenschwager.
Okay, you said it, thank you.
Yeah.
When you interviewed him, that was taped.
I believe so.
The interview, and I'm not saying you interviewed him, but the interview of Richie McGinnis in the Kenosha Police Department, that was taped.
I believe so.
When the interview was performed with Mr. Groskwitz and his attorney, Ms. Motley, that interview wasn't taped.
I don't believe so.
Okay. Can you think of any other witnesses in this case, complaining witnesses, whose interviews and information was not taped?
Other complaining witnesses?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. And just so the record's clear, no one has ever interviewed Jump Kick Man, correct?
Correct.
No one's ever been able to identify him.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
He's never come forward and complained to law enforcement that he felt as though he was somehow the victim of a crime on August 25th.
Correct, he has not come forward.
And he never came. You tried to identify him.
We tried.
You tried showing his picture around, asking numerous people.
Yes.
Now, you testified about Mr. Zeminski, correct?
Correct.
Now, after getting a bunch of the videos, which you did get, you review those and you realize, correct me if I'm wrong, that Kyle Rittenhouse did not fire the first shot.
Correct.
And through some Facebook sleuthing, it's brought out that an individual by the name of Alec Blaine was the individual who in fact had done or fired the first shot on the 25th.
Yeah, I believe it was Alex Blaine was going around social media and different outlets, but yeah, I saw that name on the internet.
Okay, and through getting his picture off Facebook, that picture was circulated around your department.
Yes.
And he was a known individual, and somebody says, that's not Alec Blaine, that's Joshua Zeminski.
Correct.
And do you know who that was?
Information was forwarded to our gang crimes unit at the time, and I believe they had a resource in Milwaukee that they helped coordinate, identify.
Guys, do we even want the closed captions? They're completely toxic. I mean, it's just nonsense. It's the equivalent of that sign language interpreter who was signing nonsense.
One shot.
You said Mr. Blake.
I apologize. Mr. Zeminski, the real name, who fired a shot shortly before Mr. Rosenbaum was shot by Kyle.
Yes.
Now, on direct examination, you were asked a question about the timing from Zeminski's shot to Kyle's shot, correct?
Correct.
You did that with a stopwatch?
Yes.
So it's a human act.
Yes.
Okay. And the Wisconsin State Crime Lab has numerous individuals who can break down video, correct?
Yes.
You can do a frame-by-frame analysis of the video, and that can tell you frames per second, and you can come within hundredths of a second of what happened, correct?
Correct.
And whether Mr. Zeminski was on the sidewalk or Mr. Zeminski was on the beginning of the parking lot, where you see the flash on the video is behind Kyle Rittenhouse, correct?
At that time, yes.
Okay, and the shot goes off, and it's in close proximity, 30 feet?
Yes.
Okay, and from behind him.
Yes.
And you were asked questions by Mr. Binger about Mr. Rosenbaum and your information regarding him. And he named a series of weapons, gun, knife, I think there was even a bat or something like that. In your extensive review of the videos, there were numerous times where Mr. Rosenbaum was armed, correct?
I can recall him carrying a chain at one point.
And to the best of your ability and investigation, that chain came from a trailer
Mr.
in that
Obama.
church.
From the St. James
You guys
campus
see
area.
that?
And the St. James,
caption?
we're talking about the rubble and things like that.
Yes.
And that was an area where there's numerous videos of people going and arming themselves with projectiles, rocks, or busted up cement.
Yes.
And that was where Mr. Rosenbaum and Mr. Zeminski got the trailer to bring down Sheridan Road to start the fire, correct?
Correct.
And that's where Mr. Zeminski and Mr. Rosenbaum are bent over, starting the clump of debris and things like that in the road on fire with the trailer up on its side.
Yes.
And that's where Mr. Rosenbaum is wearing a blue mask, correct?
Correct.
And that's what would commonly be referred to as a baklava or a shield that goes from his neck
Guys,
down to his
baklava. He's talking about a balaclava. Baklava is a delicious dessert.
maroon shirt that he was wearing on his head as a mask when he was shot by my client.
Correct.
Now, as you said, you've been a detective for 3 years. It's against the law to use physical force against a citizen of Kenosha to try and steal their property from them, correct?
Correct.
That would be what's called strong arm robbery.
Correct.
It's a more serious crime if you attempt to do that while you are masked. That's what's called a criminal enhancer, correct?
Correct.
Baklava.
I'm going to back up a little bit to your direct examination. You talked in response to Mr. Binger's questions about the pumps being turned off at gas stations, correct?
Correct.
Now, that isn't something that was publicized or everybody knew, correct?
Correct.
So the crowd and people who were protecting the ultimate gas station didn't necessarily know that the pumps were off.
They may not have. Yeah.
You didn't broadcast it.
Correct.
And you testified about
That's
going
another
up-
example when you can just interrupt the thing rather than saying it's possible. Say, I have no knowledge at all about who knew anything about gas pumps.
patrol police presence in the downtown area on the 25th, really, was it?
There was some patrol.
Were anybody walking the beat?
Not walking.
Okay. And they were in unmarked squad cars.
We had unmarked and marked squad cars.
In the videos during the evening from, say, 9 o'clock until midnight when this happens, you don't see any police cars on the street, correct?
Well, we tried to surveil from a distance away.
Okay.
Gather as much information without
making yourself public or no?
Yes.
And the night before, on the 24th, there was limited or no response by emergency personnel. That's why Car Source 1 burnt to the ground, correct?
We had to prioritize to go to certain calls.
I understand, sir. I'm not trying to second guess anybody. I'm trying to set the scene that evening. and the
Mr.
night
President,
before.
sir, how I-
Nobody went to Car Source, what I refer to as 1, the lot that was wiped out, with fire trucks to put it out, correct?
Correct. We were not responding to just property damage at that time.
Oh, man. Thanks,
Now-
Marcus, for signing up on my website, by the way. I appreciate it.
You interviewed BG on the scene, Bretton Gradschweiger, and he was interviewed at the Kenosha Police Department.
Correct.
And in your interview of him, immediately you read him his Miranda rights, correct?
Correct.
And that was because when he was arrested, there was talk of 1, a curfew ticket, correct?
Correct.
And 2, he was found with marijuana.
I actually do not recall the marijuana aspect of that.
You're not disputing that, are you?
I'm not going to dispute it.
Okay. And there, he gives a statement. There was discussion in that one about downloading his phones and camera.
Correct.
And that was done.
I believe for that, he was able to airdrop his video to my work cell phone.
Okay, so he provided you with everything you wanted from his phone,
Yes.
and you did not have to get a search warrant, correct?
Correct.
And you leave the interview, and you said on the tape, you call somebody, and you tell Mr. Guttenschweiger when you come back in that you don't have to cite him or arrest him for the marijuana because you spoke to somebody at the DA's office.
He doesn't
and
even
can go
remember
home.
the marijuana.
Do you remember
it
that?
says.
Not verbatim. No.
Do you remember telling him he got to go home and he wasn't going to be held overnight arrested?
Yes.
Okay? You don't arrest somebody for a curfew violation. You give them a ticket, correct?
Correct. That's a forfeiture.
Right. So there had to be some criminal activity, or when he was done being interviewed, he could have just went home. You can't threaten somebody with arrest when you're interviewing.
I think you kind of can, actually.
Taken in custody and brought into the police.
Does this guy know anything about police interrogations? They threaten things all the time.
He had marijuana in his person, correct?
Correct.
You have no ability to make promises or give consideration for cooperation, correct?
We wanted the video more than to cite him for curfew or marijuana.
Okay. Who did you get permission from to not charge him with the marijuana?
I don't recall getting permission. It may have been a decision that Detective Answering and I made.
Okay.
I don't recall getting permission for that. That may have been a decision that Detective Answering and I made.
And you, that evening, are made lead detective along with Detective Antarami on this case.
Yes.
And you receive information that your person who has not been identified yet has turned himself into the Antioch Police Department.
Correct.
And you and Detective Antaramian, go down to Antioch, Illinois.
Correct.
You talk to the people who are there about when he got there, correct?
Correct.
And that was at approximately 1:20 a.m., correct?
Correct.
So that would have been 1 hour and 30 minutes from the time of the shooting.
Correct.
And you get down there at what time?
At approximately 3:30.
Okay, so he'd been there for a little over 2 hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes when you get there, correct?
Correct.
And was he in handcuffs?
No.
Was he locked up in a holding cell?
No.
He was sitting in the unlocked lobby of the Antioch Police Department with his mother waiting for you.
Yes.
The Antioch Police didn't have somebody sitting on him?
I don't know.
You walked in there and there wasn't a police officer sitting next to him, was there?
Don't recall.
I do not recall that.
And you documented the injuries on Kyle?
Yes.
And I guess what the state is getting at is the injuries weren't serious, so he shouldn't have shot. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. When you're being kicked in the head, you don't know what's going to happen to you. Is that a fair statement?
Fair.
Okay. When somebody's hitting you in the back of the head the second time with a skateboard, you don't know what's happening to you, correct?
Correct.
When somebody puts their bare hand on your firearm, trying to take it away from your person, you don't know whether or not that person is going to get your gun and turn it and use it on you, correct?
You don't know. No. Correct.
And it's a general training principle. You don't give up your gun because it's a deadly and dangerous weapon.
Correct. I'm going to object to this line here. This is not an expert witness, and that this last question is about training for police officers, which is not relevant.
Rephrase your question.
Sir, if a weapon is taken from somebody, it can be used against them as a deadly and dangerous weapon, correct?
Correct.
Now, you looked at, let's see, Exhibit 18, and the prosecutor showed you 1 hour and 25 minutes into it at approximately 10 seconds. I'll get it up on the screen.
I'll take this as an opportunity to say thanks to Red Leader Wedge as well as Pathless Mist. Also, huge thank you to Marcus Neely, who just signed up on my website.
1:25:10. This one doesn't.
It's not on yet.
Because the other remote, yeah. I'm gonna put this back where I got it for me, because otherwise I'll lose it.
I still believe Rittenhouse will be not guilty of murder. I still think that, yeah.
It's on. Yeah. I can't see the time on. A minute and 1 hour, 24 minutes and 30 seconds from the back end.
Progressions. Organized.
That was 124:20 with the back end.
I'll see if I can do it this way. Do you remember in the video when the dumpster's out in the street and Kyle goes out and grabs the dumpster?
Yes.
Okay, and when Kyle pulls the dumpster back, the person who's filming takes the camera and shows an individual standing in the street staring at my client in the dumpster, correct?
I would like to see the video again, just to be sure.
Yeah. Thanks to Pavid Dackman for signing up on my website with the coupon code Felony21. Really appreciate it. Your new member number 4041 because website memberships count twice. Today only. This is some consultation happening here. Also, thanks to Blueberry Babe and Lena Ray for the Twitch subs.
It's not on the screen.
Oh, it's right there.
Okay. Ready?
One of the guys losing his patience. He should go inside.
Yeah, that's what we're about to send him.
Yeah, if you guys could switch him out. Just somebody's loose cannon. He's got a lot of rage. He said.
Showing you rundown live. Exhibit number 18. 1:23:55 into the video. Standing right here. Who is this?
That is Kelly Zeminski.
Okay. Please continue.
Surrounding this whole property, you guys alive. Protect your property. They're respecting that. Just keep it there.
seconds. Go ahead.
Gonna be on the street.
Nice place to
They're
be,
just
huh?
protecting their property. One of the guys is an asshole.
I know, I thought they were yelling at them. I was like, why? These guys were...
Well, we did get they lit it on fire. One of the guys losing his patient.
You know who this is right here? I'm pointing with the pointer.
I believe that's Joshua Zeminski.
Okay. This is the dumpster right here.
If that's the dumpster you're referring to, yes.
There was a literal dumpster fire at this event, right?
Yeah, you guys can switch along. Somebody's out loose here. He's got a lot of rage. He said the wrong thing. This whole property, you guys alive. Protect your property. They're respecting that. Just keep it there.
That's not a joke. I recall them mentioning a dumpster that was on fire. There's a dumpster that's part of this. People think I'm kidding.
That's Kyle going out to get the dumpster out of the street, correct?
Correct.
There you go, dumpster.
That dumpster came from Car Source 2's lot, correct?
I don't know that.
Okay, continue on.
Understand? Hey, your job isn't to be in the street. You guys stand your...
That's him pulling a dumpster out of the street.
Correct.
Continue on.
property. That's why you got problems already with people.
Stop. Who's this?
That's Joshua Zeminski.
He's standing in front of Car Source 3, looking directly at Car Source 3, correct?
Correct.
In the direction of the dumpster being brought back by my client.
He's looking more towards the videographer.
Okay.
I think Mr.
Left to
Rittenhouse
his
is...
right would be where the dumpster is, correct?
Correct.
And he stands there, and we know that he's armed, correct?
Correct.
And in viewing all the videos that you viewed, putting out fires upset these individuals who are starting the fires. Is that a fair statement?
That's fair.
Exhibit 8, please. On direct examination, you were asked questions about non-lethal, correct?
Correct.
And that was in response to my client saying the statement about they didn't have any non-lethal, correct?
Correct.
And that non-lethal also doesn't mean nightsticks, OC spray, and things like that. There are what are considered non-lethal bullets.
Can you say that again?
Could you ask a question, please?
Bullets that are meant to kill, dismember, maim, correct?
Correct.
There are also bullets that go in firearms that are what are referred to as non-lethal.
Yeah, rubber bullets?
Yes.
Could be one of those projectiles, yes.
And as far as you know, none of the people out there that evening, like my client who were protecting property and themselves, were armed with non-lethal bullets, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. The reg incognito video at approximately 3:58 p.m. 3:58 into the video, excuse me.
While they cue this up, huge thank you to Marie Giangreco, who just signed up on my website, David Coate, and Falafel Wrap, our newest member. What a day.
55 seconds. $359.50.
Oh.
It's back. That's what I wrote
This is
down.
pretty scuffed, yeah.
Then try 358, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Beast Mode, for the Twitch sub. Appreciate it. Very strong subscription.
So the white dude I was just talking to, or whatever he is right here, he just got his phone slapped. He got his phone slapped out on him and socked at the same time. This dude right here, walking away. This dude right here got his phone slapped and blindsided.
Stop. Just hear that yell 3 times, friendly, friendly, friendly? Yes. Based upon your investigation, who is that?
That appears to be Mr. Rittenhouse.
Okay. And that's when he's being chased by Mr. Rosenbaum.
I don't know if it's right before the chase, but approximately the start of the chase time is when that audio appears to come out.
Okay. And that would be something to say to someone, I don't have a beef with you, friendly, friendly.
Yes.
And that didn't dissuade Mr. Rosenbaum, based upon your investigation and viewing of the videos, from continue to attempt to attack my client, correct?
Correct.
And as my client is running from Mr. Rosenbaum, is he gaining ground on Mr. Rosenbaum, or is Mr. Rosenbaum gaining ground on him?
Looks like Mr. Rosenbaum is gradually gaining ground on Mr. Rittenhouse.
And Mr. Rosenbaum is running towards my client, and my client turns around and points the gun in his direction. Does not level it at him, but makes it very clear that he's armed to Mr. Rosenbaum, correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Rosenbaum is not dissuaded by that firearm and continues to chase after my client.
He stops briefly and then continues to run again.
He doesn't stop like I'm standing here and say, contemplating life's realities, like maybe I should pick a better course of action. He slows his gait and then continues.
Look at the smirk on
after
this
time,
guy.
Correct?
Correct.
And Kyle runs, I'm terrible with my directions, in a southwesterly direction.
What the hell is the judge doing?
Correct.
You guys hear that?
You've seen the Lucas Zanin video, correct?
Correct.
And even in this video, you hear like a bang, bang, bang repeatedly, correct?
Correct.
And based upon your investigation, what is that?
Those are bats or other blunt objects hitting cars in the car source lot.
And in the Lucas Zanin video, which is a little over 7 minutes, that's taken from the 63rd, looking in a northeasterly direction into the car source.
Yes, mainly north.
Okay, and there's well more than 50 people there bashing car windows, jumping on cars, and starting a fire there.
So I'd say there's more than 50 people there, but it might be a little less than that with people that are actually doing property damage, because there are a lot of people that are standing around.
Because there probably weren't enough cars for everybody to beat on. Is that a fair statement?
I'm going to object. That's argumentative.
I don't think it's argumentative.
The objection's overruled.
There were only so many cars, correct?
There's a certain number of cars in the car source lot, correct?
And back when Car Source was a running business, those weren't junk cars. They were real cars of somebody's property, correct?
They were cars for sale.
And correct me if I'm wrong, did you ever hear any of these rioters give an explanation for why destroying somebody's property is going to make their situation or Mr. Blake's situation better?
I'm going to object. It calls for hearsay.
Well, one of the exceptions to the hearsay rule is a plan or a statement of intent. So the objection's overruled.
I have not heard a reason.
Now, the video of Car Source that's shown from the FBI fixed-wing aircraft, that's at 9,000 feet, correct?
I can't recall the exact, I think it was, you said 8,500?
89?
Yeah.
I mean...
High.
Okay, you and I will agree on that. And
Yes.
you could see this bag clear as day flying through it, correct? Flying through the air.
The plastic bag?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And there was also, we're right here. That's the video we're talking about. And here's the pointer, excuse me. This right here, I'm pointing in the lower right-hand corner of the television. There's a number, 8,941 feet, correct?
Yes, it was in between our, I said 8,500, you said 9,000.
Okay, so, and here is the latitude, longitude.
Yes.
And this cursor, according to your information, is what controls the camera. Where they put that cursor, the camera locks onto that and the plane keeps moving, correct?
That's what it appears to, that appears to control the direction of the camera,
Here,
yes.
we have a heat source,
We see some white there, yes.
which would mean hot.
Yes.
And here, in the car, which I'll refer to as the Duramax, at the northeast corner of car source, we also have a heat source.
Yes.
And there's a video of an individual right before my client gets there, starting that Duramax on fire.
Yes.
Do you have this exhibit is what number? No, this exhibit, that's up. This exhibit 9, the FBI video from a distance, correct?
Yes.
You've looked at this on numerous occasions.
Yes.
And probably the best way to find somebody on this video is to go backwards. So we know where the shooting was, correct?
Yes.
And so you follow it backwards. That's how you identify Kyle. That's how you identify Mr. Rosenbaum, correct?
That and relating it to other videos.
Exactly.
Yes.
And in this video, you're able to get Mr. and Mrs. Zeminski also, correct?
Yes.
Could I have our exhibit, please? In our video, there is a green for Kelly Zeminski, there's a red, and we'll roll this, and a white. Go ahead, please. Stop. This blue circle between what I would say the second and third row of cars, Mr. Rosenbaum, correct?
Correct.
This red is Mr. Zeminski, green Mrs.
Yes.
White Kyle.
Yes.
And Richie McGinnis is to the left of the television screen, correct?
To the right.
In pink.
To the right of the television screen.
To the right. Sorry. Roll it, please. Stop. As Kyle, the white circle, comes to the Duramax, this individual, Mr. Rosenbaum, begins to come out of his hiding place.
Yes, he comes around the vehicle at that time.
And he's masked,
Yes.
and he comes around, roll. Stop. Blue, again, Mr. Rosenbaum, correct?
Correct.
And now you begin with the chase. Mr. Rosenbaum of Kyle Rittenhouse, correct?
Correct.
Stop, not yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this looks like a classic ambush.
I'm going to object as to the calling for the defendant's interpretation of things. The jury can make their own decision as to what the...
Sustained.
Okay. Mr. Rosenbaum is in hiding as
Didn't
my
allow
client
that.
arrives, correct?
It appears so, yes.
My client gets to this side of the Duramax, which would be the far side from Mr. Rosenbaum, correct?
Can you repeat that, please?
My client comes to the far side of the Duramax from Mr. Rosenbaum.
On the opposite
correct?
side of Mr. Rosenbaum, yes.
And his circle, my client is stationary, and his circle is closing on my client's circle, Mr. Rittenhouse, correct?
Correct.
And according to this video, which we don't have sound because it's from 9,000 feet, this is right about the time where Kyle yells, friendly, friendly.
Friendly, friendly, friendly.
Yes.
Yes.
And it does not dissuade Mr. Rosenbaum, correct?
Correct.
Roll the tape. Stop. Kyle goes out into the road, goes back into the car source lot with him, meaning Mr. Rosenbaum, following, correct?
Correct.
Where's Mr. Zeminski in this?
He's on the sidewalk. It's going to be just north of the blue circle, and that's going to be going right, from left to right on that screen. No, the other direction. To the right of the blue circle on that screen.
Okay, so right here?
No, to the right of the blue
Right
circle,
here?
yes.
Exactly. And he almost directly behind Kyle to the side of Mr. Rosenbaum.
Yes.
Okay, roll. Stop. This is Mr. McGinnis.
Yes.
This is Mr. and Mrs. Zeminski.
Yes.
She's very identifiable because she's got a big backpack on her back.
Yes.
Continue. Stop. This does not depict the shot, correct?
I think this appears to be just before.
Okay. Continue. You don't see the flash of Mr. Zeminski's gun in the thermal, correct?
I did not see it,
Just see
no.
a flash?
But we know from other videos, there's one a sound and two a flash.
Yes, in multiple videos, yes.
Mr. Zeminski didn't come forward and complain about my client's behavior that day, correct?
Correct.
He didn't come forward and complain and say that I had to shoot him to scare him or something like that, correct?
He did not come forward, correct.
And after my client shoots Joseph Rosenbaum 3 times in 76 hundredths of a, excuse me, 4 times, 4 shots in 76 hundredths of a second, the Zeminskis, when that shooting is going on, they don't run away, they don't hide.
It was 76 tenths of a second.
76 tenths.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me. The Zeminski
Is 76 tenths 7.6 seconds? That's weird, right?
They stay right there and they start yelling. Mr. Zeminski still has his gun out. And Mrs. Zeminski
Why would
starts
they say
yelling
that?
about
Weird.
get him, things like that about Kyle, correct?
Correct.
Like it sounds fast, but
There are multiple people closing in on Kyle.
Okay.
Mr. Rittenhouse.
And that's, I apologize, Mr. Rittenhouse. And that's closing in on him at the car source parking lot, correct?
It appears that at the car source, that people are coming towards Mr. Rosenbaum. And yes, there's people that are shouting in the direction of Mr. Rittenhouse. I'd say it's more clear once he starts running northbound that there are people following him.
Okay. But
All right, guys, I hate to do this at such a key time, but I am at a hard out. I've got to go. I've got a thing I've got to do. So this is the court TV feed for people who want to continue watching. I'm going to be back with more coverage tomorrow. I'm just at the end of my time. I allotted a couple hours for today. All right, guys. So the feeds continue. I've got to run. We will see everybody tomorrow.